about the top 5 books that I read this winter. That is the last 3 months, that is November, December, and January, if the winter counts in this part of the world. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The first book that we're going to talk about is Broken Verses by Kamala Shamsi. A moment for this one. The storyline in this book is good, but what really made me go crazy for this book, like feminism, there's raw politics, there's a lot of romance, then there's kidnapping, there's Lollywood, I'd say, and then there's so much more going on in this book, and you should definitely give this a try. If you do, let me know how you find it. Next up is this book, Carry On. This is the latest book from the same writer who wrote Fangirl, which is an amazing chick lit, I'd say, to be very honest, but it's not like a very serious one, except that it talks about sisters issues. But stories aside, this book is an amazing one, and I'd say a parody of Harry Potter, because basically this one talks about mages, there's magic, there's prophecies, there's main character who is said to be the chosen one, and there's so much going on other than gay stuff as well, like gay romance. Now, when we're talking about Harry Potter, we're talking about really old school setup, but when I read this book, there was magic and then there was raw teenage language in it, which was very modern. So that was like a very awesome feeling, because whenever I think about magic in schools, it's always old school, like Harry Potter has always been for us, you know? Next up is The Life of Iqbal, which is basically written, or I would say summarized, by Professor Masud Hassan, and it was printed by Feroz Sons Limited, Lahore. Now this was an amazing book. First of all, I bought it from the Expo Center Karachi 2016. Other than that, it was a used old grimy book. But what I really loved about it is that it was a really amazing book. Now it's not Iqbal, but it's about Iqbal, and this is really beautiful because in order to start up Iqbal, I really wanted to know who he really is, other than just the philosopher of our country, I'd say. You know, I need to know more about him in order to get started with his poetry. And it does not give you a really heavy dose of poetry, but it gives you tiny snippets of that poetry, so you're really ready to have a heavy dosage. And that's why I really love this book. It's a very old book, but I found a library card inside it, and it said it's all the way from 1997, which was very interesting, and that kind of really attracts me because old books are beautiful. This one by John Grisham, called King of Tours, is the one that I forgot to mention in my video, but again, it's a nice read. You should give it a try. Next up, and for the last book that I'm going to talk about, is going to be a children's story, which basically is somewhat similar to Alice in the Wonderland, or there is Wizard of Oz, but when we really are talking about this whole new universe going on in the story, whereas in this one that's called Coraline by Neil Gaiman, it's basically a story which talks about a parallel universe. So it's much more similar, but then it's evil, and that's when it gets really interesting. I'm not going to go a lot about it because, spoiler alert, but other than that, it was a nice book because it gave me an insight into the whole society and how it works and how we need to find ourselves and our true selves, because there's like a whole satirical view of it. I'm not going to spoil a lot for you, but this was a nice read, and if you really want to go ahead and check it out, please do. That was it for today, guys. If you really liked my video, please give it a thumbs up, and let me know what is your favorite book or any other recommendation that you want me to read and do a review on. I'd love to. I know this wasn't really a review kind of session, but it was just a basic top 5 books that I've read so far, and yes, I'll keep you updated with much more going on in my life if I get a good review. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and definitely keep in touch because I'm going to make more videos soon enough. Thank you.